Hey friends, it's Mrs. Walker. For our lesson today, we're going to talk about how we can take our measurement data and turn it into a line plot. So our learning goal for today says, I can draw a line plot to represent measurement data. The materials that you'll need for this lesson are a ruler, paper, if you don't have your recording sheet. Okay, so make sure that you grab those things. Your recording sheet's in your math book, but if you don't have it, I'll show pictures of it during the lesson, and you'll just have to draw it out on a piece of paper. Okay. So today we're going to organize the handspan data we collected from the previous lesson in a different way. So here we had it in our tally table, but now we're going to organize it into a line plot. All right, friends, so what does this look like? Like, what is that down there? Yeah, it's a number line, right? We used the number line to help us with addition and subtraction problems the other day by sliding up and down the number line. So we can also use the number line in a different way to show data. So friends, there's so many things you can do with a number line. They're pretty helpful. So what did you notice about this number line? So I want you to pause the video. I want you to look at it real close. What did you notice about this number line? And then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, so here's some things that I heard. That it goes from 3 to 8. It doesn't start at 1. And there's a 0, and then like 2 little like slashes, and then a 3. Like those things right there. And it says inches. So those are the things that you guys were noticing. So that's right, our data doesn't start at 0. So we make these 2 slashes to show that we're skipping some numbers. It's kind of like showing that there's a break in our number line. And then we don't have to label all of those other numbers in between. So it can kind of keep our number line a little bit smaller as we're going through. So we need to give our line plot a title. So what was our data about that we collected the other day? It was about handspans, right? So those are our class handspans. So we can give that as our title. So here's our data. I'll bring it back up for us from the previous lesson. So to show our data, we put an X for each tally mark above the number of inches our handspans were. And then we also write the unit of measure. Okay, so we're going to add a key to show that each X represents on our line plot. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can do this. So we have 3 inches here. There are 5 people that had 3 inches. So I need to add an X for each person. So there's 5 people, so I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice, friends, how I line them up nice and neat. They're not on top of each other. They're really in a straight line going up. In order for line plots to be helpful and a useful tool to represent data, they have to be neat and organized. So you have to keep your X's about the same size, and you want to keep them going up straight together. Okay, so now we're going to look at 4 inches, and there was 6 people that had 4 inches. So I'm going to put 6 X's on the number 4. Okay, now as I'm doing that, watch how they keep and they're lined up across from the 3. The X's in the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, if I look, I can point straight across, and those X's are pretty close to being straight across from each other. And you want to be able to do that. So you can look and say, like right now, I can look at that data and say there's more people that had a 4-inch handspan than 3 inches because that line of X's is taller. Okay, let's go to 5 inches. Friend, how many people had a 5-inch handspan? Yeah, 4. So how many X's am I going to put on my line plot? 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're going to come to 6. How many people had a 6-inch handspan? 3. So 3 X's. 1, 2, 3. Let's go to 7 inches. How many people had a 7-inch handspan? 3. So how many X's do I need to put on top of the 7? 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, how many people had an 8-inch hand span? Yeah, one person. So I would put 1x. Okay, so friends, we did a good job creating in this one. If you don't have the recording sheet for this one, you can just draw the line plot like I did, okay? So we also, before I forget down here, in the bottom corner, I just added a key that tells us that 1x, or each x represents one person. Okay, so that's really important to remember. So when anybody looks at this data, they know that that x means 1. So one person had an 8-inch hand span, or 3 people had a 6-inch hand span. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to pause the video, and you're going to create your own line plot just like we did together on your paper. So if you have your recording sheet, you can do it on there. If not, you just have to draw your line plot to make the bottom part look like mine for our number line, and then you can add the X's on top. So go ahead and pause the video, create your own line plot. It should look just like mine, and then click play when you're ready for the next step. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so super job creating a line plot, friends. Well done. All right, so what information can you see in our line plot? I want you to pause the video. I want you to think about that for just a minute. What information can you see in the line plot? So pause, click play when you have some ideas to share. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. So something you could say is most people have a 4-inch hand span, right? So if I look here, I have the greatest line right there. That is the longest line in my line plot, okay? It has the most X's of 6. Okay, so we also can say that there's more people with a 3-inch or 4-inch hand span than there is with a 7 or 8. So if I put a box around those, I can see that in 3 and 4-inch hand spans, there's 11 people. And in the 7 and 8, there's only 4 people. So that's another kind of conclusion I can draw from my line plot. We can also say that 7 people have a hand span of 5 or 6 inches, because I can draw a box around it and say I can count them and there's 7 people. Now, friends, I'm drawing a box around it to be able to help show you what I'm looking at, but you don't have to draw boxes on your line plot to be able to answer these types of questions, okay? It's just to be able to help us look at it differently. We can also say that the least common hand span is 8 inches, because if we look, there's only one friend that has that hand span. Okay, it's the smallest line on our line plot. All right, friends, so we're done talking about our hand spans. Now we're going to collect data on how long our shoes are. So to measure your shoe length, you place your ruler on the flat, or your ruler flat on the bottom of your shoe, and then you would measure in centimeters. So then I want you to measure your shoe and measure 2 or 3 different people's shoes. So this is a great practice for measuring objects in centimeters, okay? So you're going to pause the video, you're going to do measuring. If you only have your shoe to measure, just measure your shoe. If you can grab another shoe, grab another shoe, okay? So just measure a couple shoes, or at least one shoe, and then click play when you're ready to go to the next step. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. So let's create our collection table to record our shoe measurements. Sorry, it's I feel like a tongue twister for me today. All right, so here I'm going to make just a quick chart. So on one side I have the shoe measurements, the other side I have those tally marks. And you know what, friends? Today is your lucky day. You know why? Because I'm going to measure all those stinky shoes for you. Yuck. Ugh. So gross. Okay, friends, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go measure some shoes. Hang tight. I'll be right back. All right, friends. Whew. Sorry, paused the video and measured as quick as I could. So I'm going to measure this for you. 26 centimeters was one shoe. One person had that. Then another measurement as I measured through was 20 centimeters, and one person had that. Another shoe I measured was 21 centimeters, so I'm going to mark it with a tally. Oh, another person had another 21 centimeter shoe. Ooh, somebody had a 20 centimeter, so I gave another tally. New measurement of 19 centimeters. Another new measurement of 22 centimeters. Oh, sorry, of 20 centimeters. And then there's a 22. Ooh, another 21. And then 22. So how many shoes did I measure? I want you to pause the video and figure out how many shoes did I measure, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. How many stinky shoes, did I measure? I measured 10 shoes because there's 10 tallies in our collection table. How many different measurements do we have? So pause the video, look at our chart, our table. How many different measurements are there? All right, friends. So how many different measurements are there? Yeah, there's 5 different measurements. We have 26 centimeters, 20 centimeters, 21 centimeters, 19 centimeters, and 22 centimeters. Those are 5 different measurements. Now, friends, the reason why they're not in order is because as I was just grabbing a shoe, I just grabbed one. I didn't look and say, oh, this one's the smallest one, so I'm going to measure this one first. I just grabbed 10 shoes and measured those stinky shoes and came up with those measurements. All right, so let's take our data and turn it into a line plot. So there's our data again. First, we have to draw the number line. We have to start with 0. What's our largest measurement? Yeah, it's 26. So our number line needs to go from 0 to 26. Oh, man, that's a lot of numbers. Oh, wait a minute. Who remembers the symbol we can use to show a break in our number line? What's that symbol that we could use? Yeah, it's those 2 slashes, right? So we can start at 0 and then use the double line to show what number, or to stop our number line and show that we're having a break. What measure or what number do we start again at? Yeah, we're going to start at 19 because that's our smallest measurement in our chart. So you have to label in your line plot all of the numbers from 19 to 26, even if it's not a measurement in the data that we collected. And you have to do that because we need to show that no one had that measurement. But if it's not on our chart, someone might just think we forgot. But if we include it on our chart and just don't put any X's on that line plot, that tells someone that there were no measurements that had that length for their shoes. Okay, so you're going to draw the number line for our line plot. Okay, so for just this one, you just have to draw your number line. You don't have to record the data yet, just your number line. So pause the video, create your number line, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here we go. All right, so here is our number line. And remember, we started at 0. We had that break in our number line, and then we labeled all the way from 19 to 26. 19 was our smallest measurement, and 26 was our largest. Now you're going to label your line plot with a title, a key, and the unit of measure. So go ahead and pause the video, label those 3 things on your line plot, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. Otherwise, here's my title, shoe lengths, because that's what we measured. We measured in centimeters, so I would label that there. And the key is X equals 1 shoe. All right, so if you don't have those measurements or the centimeters and the X equals 1 shoe, please pause the video and correct that on your line plot. If you came up with a different title, as long as it's talking something similar to shoe lengths, that's okay, that's fine. All right, so now you're going to add the data to your line plot. Mark an X for each tally in the measurements in your chart. And make sure that each X is the same size and lined up neatly. Okay, so this is the chance where you're going to get to showcase how awesome your skills are with creating line plots. And then once you create your line plot, we'll go over and do it together. Okay, so pause the video, add the data to your line plot, and then click play when you're ready to go over it together. All right, friends, pause if you need more time. All right, so here's how I would go through and do this. I would start at the top. 26 centimeters had one shoe. So I would come to 26 and I would add 1x. Then I moved to 20 centimeters, had 3 tally marks. So that means 3 people. So that gets 3 x's. Now make sure you go to 20 centimeters and add it there. Okay. Then we go to 21, also had 3. 19 had 1. And 22 had 2. Okay, so does your line plot look like my line plot? Okay, if it does, awesome. If it doesn't, just pause the video real quick, make a couple changes, and correct it. That's all. Okay, so good job with that one, friends. Whew. You guys are pros at line plots. All right, so here's a copy of your problem set if you don't have access to that, so you can pause the video and solve it. And then when you're finished, or if you don't have it, you guys did a great job drawing a line plot to represent measurement data. Okay, so please head back on over to the module to see what you need to complete for your independent practice. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to help. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye, friends!